Hello, and welcome to On the Fence. I'm Erik.
And I'm Vicky.
And today we're going to be talking about Bandai Spirit's prize figure, Evangelion's Asuka. We're doing these now?
Okay, so I never watched Evangelion, or if I did, I watched like 2 or 3 episodes. So, who is she?
This is Asuka Soryu Langley. She's the German child that they used to pilot the mecha in the series. And she's one of the main protagonists and sometimes antagonists to the other main character, Shinji.
Okay, cool. I thought you were going to talk about her personality or something.
Oh, well, she's like the pose suggests, she's actually like the strong-willed, I can do anything that you can do and better kind of female trope in an anime series.
Okay.
And I would say she's one of the first ones to really be hardcore like that because the creator to Evangelion was really, really good with his psychology when creating characters.
Nice. And is that her regular suit, or does she wear that all the time? Like, is it like a flight suit or some sort?
Kind of. So she wears regular clothing like any regular human being would, but when she pilots the mech, they need to become in tune with the robot when they're piloting it, and in order to help them have a higher level of connection, a higher, stronger connection, they wear these suits. They're called plug suits. So all the 3 pilot children wear them.
Okay.
And only kids can pilot these mechs. I'm not going to get too much into detail about it because I don't want to ruin the series or spoil anything.
And these are part of the costume?
Yeah, okay. All the characters have those little antenna pieces that help them communicate better.
Okay. Excellent. So, who is the creator of that beautiful creature?
Well, the creator to the series is Hideki Anno. He did the character designs, he's an illustrator, a producer, a writer. He does pretty much everything. And, I mean, let's say he really studies a lot in psychology based off of the type of writing he did for a series like this. As for the statue, well, because this is considered a prize figure, it's really hard to find details on the person who sculpted it. The main pose that she's taking is very similar to her original character design pose created by the creator to Evangelion. But other than that, I don't know much more detail. It's hard to find.
And I'm sorry if I'm a newbie, but what's a prize figure?
A prize figure. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, in Japan, they've got these claw machines, and this is what's in those claw machines. So here you'll win stuffed animals or ball things. You open it up and there's more stuffed animals. In Japan, they've got boxes full of everything, and figures is definitely one of them, which is going to kind of bring me up to the price point on her as well. She's 618 yen. I'm mentioning that a little earlier than I like to, but it's just because prize figures, that's the price you're going to pay for the claw machines. That's the cheapest she's going to come up for you. And usually she'll probably be more expensive.
If you try it 100 times together.
So in the West, a lot of these prize figures are offered as regular statues that you would buy in stores. Like if you go to your local video game store that has statues, they'll have these figures. There's Dragon Ball ones. There's all sorts Fate Stay Night ones. There's so many. I can't even begin to get on how many there are. And they'll sell them here at a pretty high price. Usually it's the price that you would get it for in Japan if you're not good at playing and you just kept losing, and maybe they feel bad for you and they're like, here, you can just have it. So they're kind of pricey, but at the same time, it's significantly cheaper than buying a higher end statue. These are kind of the bottom tier ones that you're going to pick up.
Cool.
So for plastics and everything like that,
you don't have any information either.
Well, I do. It's PVC and ABS.
Okay.
Which is the standard when coming to statues. It's very rare they'll use other things, or palm plastic, which is a really hard plastic, or they don't really use ceramics sometimes, but it's very rare that they will. However, I have to say that it's always, again, on the cheaper side, because these prize figures are made for incredibly high volume and the lowest cost possible.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to buy something like this at your local comic book shop or something like that, they usually come in these big fancy ginormous boxes like this. They don't always have a window. Sometimes they show pictures and that's it. And that's like the standard for prize figures. So the size to her is 220 millimeters, and she weighs 145 grams. Like I said, the plastics are ABS, PVC, and she was created January 11th, 2020. Well, like that was her release date. And then last thing, I know I already mentioned it, but she's 618 yen, which is incredibly cheap, and you're going to be hard-pressed to find her at that actual price unless you're amazing at claw machines and living in Japan. She's usually going for, I'm going to say, in American, about 40, and in Canadian, about 50 bucks.
So, let's talk about the paint job.
Oh, boy. Okay, so I just want to start off by saying I don't get a lot of prize figures. I see, like, I work at a part-time job where we see a lot of them coming in the store, and I see a lot of them leave. And there's sometimes where I'm looking at the box thinking, oh my gosh, I'm excited. This is $30 for my country. This isn't too expensive, so I'll pick it up. And
yeah, it's not expensive.
Yeah, so it's a really, like, if you love a franchise, let's just say it's a really great way to collect things from the thing that you love and not break your bank doing it. And sometimes you can get ones that are actually very impressive considering the smaller price point. I mean, not everybody has, like, $300 to blow on a statue that could legit be the same height and size as this girl. Mm-hmm. I have to say that for a prize figure, she is big. Like, she's looking like a scale figure. I would almost say she's comparable to, like, one of my 1/7s. Maybe she's like a 1 and 8. No, 1 and 7 seems about right, but prize figures are rarely scaled again because scaling implies more math and work put into the product, which they don't care. They just want to release it.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with her face.
All right, let's do this.
Can I start?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know a lot about the character. I know you have a book with the designs and everything from the show, which I enjoy. I think it's really nice. I don't know if she's supposed to look like that.
Okay, so let me start off about the style. This is a character that was created in the 90s. So the art style of her is very 90s. From the long, elegant, thin kind of body that she has to the eyes and the very pointy facial features. It's super 90s anime. If you're not a fan of, like, older anime style, you might not enjoy this very much. I grew up on this, and I love this character so much, and for years I never bought an Asuka statue, and when I saw this one at, like, the price that it was at, I think that the pose looks really great, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the details on her face, like you were saying.
Well, like, the details are fine. They're good. It's just, like, there's no really, like, there's no shading. And it's okay. It looks really cartoony, like you said, so that's really well rendered.
Yeah, she has those, like, big, sharp anime eyes. I mean, even the eyelashes where it kind of, like, tweaks out on the end. Like, and there's only one that pops out that's very, very 90s. I'm actually surprised that they put coloration on her lips. I didn't expect that for a prize figure. Usually, like I said, prize figures, they do the bare minimum. But her eyes looks really good. I find her face in general, like the whole head and the hair and everything on her, I really like a lot.
It's really symmetrical. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't feel like she's looking like this.
Yeah. Sometimes prize figures, you get that. You'll get eyes looking in the wrong direction. You'll get parts that are improperly painted or aren't painted at all. And this is the risk that you take when you want to save a couple of bucks, but you want to support your favorite anime. Because a lot of TV shows, too, get most of their money from things like this, like their merch. So that's, if you want to support a show that you really love, buy a lot of their toys. That's generally the way it works.
They're not toys, they're figurines.
They're not figurines, they're collectibles. Alright, so her hair.
Yeah.
So her hair is clearly molded into multiple parts that were glued together. We have her front hair piece, then we've got, like, the main piece, and then afterwards we have, like, the little pigtail pieces that are plugged into the sides and the back. There's actually some airbrushing on it. I mean, the airbrushing on this figure in general, I didn't expect to get any, and I'm surprised that they managed to put in some. The hair color isn't particularly consistent.
No.
And it doesn't work with the shading of actual lighting. It's just kind of there.
Randomly.
Yeah,
placed.
It looks randomly placed. Then she's got those, like, little clips, the hair clips that she wears as part of her uniform. And even those are really poorly painted. There's the paint's not filling in the lines properly. You can actually see molding lines too on the whole thing.
Yeah, and the paint doesn't follow the mold lines. Here you have like 2 different tints in the color of the hair. It looks like it was painted, it wasn't the right color, and they changed it. Or like, oh, we have this piece, let's make it the same color and put it there. We have a little bit of glue too that we can
oh yeah, you can see some glue from the parts being stuck together.
But it's not like going all over the place. It's just that you have to look at it to see it. You have to search for it to see it, I mean. And yep. So, and it's like a dirty blonde kind of color.
Mm-hmm. Usually she's a brunette through and through, but it's kind of like a lighter brunette. So the color, they're out of the like 25 different colors, I'm exaggerating here, that are used on her hair, at least one of them is very accurate on there.
It's the soft caramel.
That's right.
We talked about the mold earlier, like the paint not necessarily following the mold that was made for her. So you have lines on her chest and on her stomach.
Oh man, the collarbone lines.
Yeah, that's a bit going all over the place, but you see that they're trying. I like the bolts on her arms. They look really like, I think they're made of metal or I don't know. Well, if they're not made of metal, they're really well
painted metallic.
It's well done for compared to the rest. Oh yeah, no, now I see it. Okay, the reds that are on the top and on the bottom looks like it's 2 types of plastic, or the paint or the plastic was red and this one was painted red.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like they were using the same reds at all. And one hand, I think it was kind of a cool concept where like maybe the main torso part has one red and then you can see that there's other reds utilized in other parts of her, which I think it's interesting to use more than one red. I actually like it. It's just that it's unfortunately not done super well, and her little bunny clippy ear pieces in the back are a completely different red to everything else on her body, which is very inaccurate, unfortunately.
The black was painted afterwards on the red plastic.
And very poorly as well. You can see that there are parts of it that aren't even painted in properly on the arms, and some parts that aren't painted with the black at all. And there's some parts too that have like, it almost looks like there was like a glue or something involved that had an issue with the paint on my version. Yours might not have this on her right arm down near her thigh. I find it funny that they use like metallic paints for some of the parts on her torso and her shoulders, and then when it came to the plug pieces underneath her chest, they didn't use the metallic paint for that part, and it's the same plugins as you have up at the top.
They did, but they didn't do the black under it.
That's
so,
true.
Like
it just doesn't stick
I think
out.
the boats, what looks so good is the black under it, make it really like, make the silver pop like really interestingly.
Yeah.
Here there's a black spot on the side. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, there's a few parts of her where she has like little nicks
just,
and chips and
droops.
Scratches, like on her arm that's over here. We've got a scratch underneath it.
She does have a number 2 behind on her back.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Behind her hair, they actually did the backpack, and it seems like it was done well, but it's hard to really tell because her hair covers it completely. Well, almost completely.
It's another shade of red.
Yeah, it's another shade of red. Is it the same red as her her clips on her hair?
No.
Oh, alright then.
But it's still like the shape of the statue looks really good.
Yeah, I think it looks amazing. I find that if it wasn't for the poor paint job and like actual little nicks and scratches on the actual paint as well, this statue would look like a $100 figure. It'd be pretty awesome.
Would you be able to do like a base coat and repaint it?
Definitely. If you're willing to put in $100 worth of work and time and effort, maybe more, you could make this thing look really, really nice.
Well, I guess if it's your favorite character and the statue is still a good mold, like
that's true.
It looks nice still.
That's the reason I got it, because I've seen a lot of Evangelion statues in the day, and as much as I love the series, I was never willing to pull the trigger on some of the really high price points. And I like the old anime 90s look, and a lot of them don't have it spot on, let's put it that way. And I find this one, even with the pose and the overall sculpting on it, is really, really accurate to that 90s cartoon.
And the expression on the face is nice. so on her legs, like we said, the plastic is different than the torso. She has some airbrushing that's like trying to do a little like shading.
But it's really just like as if, you know, on the factory assembly line, it's going by fast, and they're like.
Yeah, that's it. But she does have the little lines that, like, I'm sure that she has that design on the show, right?
Yeah, she does. It's nice that they filled in the black panel lining. It's very messily done. I've built Gundams before, and even I'm not a pro at it, but my panel lining is far nicer than what I'm seeing here.
I'm scared I'm gonna break it.
Yeah, let's talk about the base.
Yeah.
So
wait! I want to talk about her shoes.
Oh yeah, okay, let's talk about the shoes.
Because I think it's kind of cool, like the fact, like, because it feels like it was black plastic and red plastic instead of being paint.
And you could be right about that, because I'm seeing some glue lines along the outside of the black too. So it's possible that it really looks like she was just plugged into it.
It looks cool. Just saying.
Yeah.
Wanted to mention
I like
that.
the design of the shoes as well.
Yeah. Okay. So the base. You disconnect it because I don't want to...
Oh, I'm not disconnecting it from the base. So the base is matte finish on a clear base. There's some wording on it with a 2020 Evangelion written down on there with like a little illustration of, I believe that's Unit 1. It's really nothing impressive.
Not
it's
exceptional in any
way too big. I think that the base is too big for the character that's standing on it. I would have made it a lot smaller.
She is tall, though. It gives her stability.
That's true. But they had released 2 other models of this set. One which was Rey, and the other one which is Mary. And it would have been epic if all 3 of them, because they're all the same scale, could have connected together. I don't know why they didn't do something like that. Or at least have bases that were like little squares so you could put them all side by side. Like this... It's a big circle. It takes up so much space that you can't fit the other girls, and they're pretty small. Like, I know that they're tall, but they're very thin, so there's just so much negative space around this base. It is a prize figure, so I don't expect a lot from their bases. I'm not here thinking they're gonna, you know, put all the work into it, because this is legit the last thing that they care about on the entire selling point of this statue. It's just I love a nice base, and this one does not have it, unfortunately.
Then again, you can also modify it if you feel like it.
That's super true. I mean, if you get... Like, this could easily fit all 3 of the ones I just told you. If you had all 3 of them and you fit them all on here, like you drilled holes, you put like a metal pin through them. Yeah, I do think so.
Oh.
Yeah, they're all taking up a very little room, so you could all have them all back to back, and then you could maybe put on like a rotating electrical base, so that way they're always spinning and you'd see all 3 of them. That'd be cool.
Interesting. That's like the main thing that's good about the statue, I would say, is the mold and the pose or expression.
Very iconic. It represents her super well.
That's it. Like, I think you have more an opinion on it because
she's taken this exact pose probably more than once in the series. She's always like pushing her hair back and then walking towards to do what she wants to do, and it's just, this is really well done for that. That's one of the main reasons I like getting it, because sometimes when I look at a statue, I don't necessarily look at all the paintwork into it. I'll look at the silhouette thinking, okay, well, this is really nice. And I'm not always looking at it with a magnifying glass. I mean, if you have it set up on, like, a shelf or something, and people are coming in, they're going to look at it, and from a distance, it actually looks really nice. Even a lot of the painting mistakes and chips and just errors all over the place aren't that noticeable when you're from a distance. And again, it's a prize figure. Durability-wise, she's pretty solid. She's not going to fall off super easily. When you're putting her on the base, she has like these little plug pieces underneath, which actually when you put her feet into it, they pop out and then she doesn't stick to it. Pretty frustrating. You actually have to hold the pieces of plastic down and push her feet into it at the same time in order for her to stay in there properly.
Overall, for the price, you would get it.
For the price, I did get it. Is it something that I think in the future maybe I'll buy a better upscaled version of her, considering I love the character so much? I don't even know. I don't know about that. I like this figure a lot, actually. Despite all the painting issues and all the problems, I find that the attitude, the pose is so well done that it really, it expresses Asuka so well, so I really, really like it. enough to say that I don't necessarily want another one. Like, if they came out with a $200 model of this that was exactly the same, I wouldn't get it unless it was, like, scaled at, like, 1 and 4 at that price. So it'd be, like, a much bigger one, but then you're paying a much bigger price, too, right?
I don't think I would get it, personally, because I'd rather wait and get something a bit better, like, keep my money and get something a bit better, instead of having a bunch of less expensive statue. It's my way of...
That's a really good point, though. Let's say in a series there's 10 characters and you want a statue of all 10 of those characters. Well, it's going to cost you significantly cheaper to go with the lower quality one, whereas in the high quality one, they might not even make all 10 of those characters. They might only do, like, first of all, the women, because women get made way more often than the men do. So you'll manage to get, like, maybe 2 or 3 of them, but you're missing 7, and you just know they're hard-pressed to ever make a $400 male statue, unless we're talking about Fullmetal Alchemist here, or JoJo. And so it's not always easy to get those statues. And so if somebody wants, like, on their wall or on their shelf to have those, like, 10 characters that they love, this is definitely... It might be your only option. Not even just because it's cheaper, but just because the company is willing to put a lower amount of... they're going to put less of a chance on building these cheaper figures with the characters they know that might not sell as well, than being like, okay, here is like a $400 figure of, Krillin from Dragon Ball. He's my favorite. Would I pay $400 for a Krillin? I don't know. I freaking love Krillin. But most people wouldn't. And that's my example. I mean, most people will spend that $400 on a nice Android 18 or even a Bulma. And I know some of you now are probably saying, oh, well, I would spend that on a Goku. For sure. Goku is a main man. But again, like, if you start talking about Ten Shinhan, I mean... Okay, you're going on a level I'm really going on a rant about Dragon Ball. Like, it's the same thing for Eva. You know, if they, like, did, like, a really big statue of Shinji, which they've done before, or Shinji's father, or other characters, that it's like, how could I get these figures? Well, you can get them at a lower price point, but the quality's lower to go with it. And this way you can have your whole collection. But like you had said... So, if you want a bunch, that's a good figure. If you want one good quality one, that's not the one for you. Yeah, we basically went around in circles here. But it's part of our conversation adventure. I mean, if you're here hanging out with us, and if you're actually listening to us talk and not, like, skipping through to watch, like, the pictures, then this is what you're gonna hopefully love about this show. Yeah. All right, so I think we're done for the day, and I guess we'll see you next time. Bye! Thank you for watching. Thanks for watching. Yeah, we appreciate it. You can like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to comment. If you've got, like, sweet opinions of your own, which I'm pretty sure you do. Wait, what? And we would like to hear them, actually. If you could just write it down. I mean, also, especially if I've made any mistakes, or if I said anything. Or you forget stuff. If Vicky said, yeah, it's easy to forget things when we're making these videos. So, I mean, anybody writing these things down in the comment is always super useful. Love to hear it. And again, if you prefer purchasing the Ichiban series or any of the other prize figures, I mean, I would love to know why. In comparison to buying larger ones, is it based off of one of the things that we had mentioned earlier, or do you have, like, a totally different reason to why you're getting these? If it's not monetary and it's not to get all the collection, what is it that you love about these figures in particular? We'd like to know. You would love to know. See, I went up to you. I said love. Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah. Like and subscribe.